All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, all right, here we go. Thanks for watching. I'm going to share this now to our people because that's the most important. Then we're going to get the show started. So give me 1 minute. All Hands on Deck Media will begin in 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Out here in St. Paul. Hey, don't be telling the location of our base, bro.
Very prime location. Twin City style. You know how we do. Let's see. Got the T. Twin Cities. I'll be out here in Nomi. You know who it is. And as we go forward with...
All right, I think we're good, Paul. Let me make sure we're good.
Go check it out.
All right, you could go now on Facebook and share this video right here on there, so then they can see that. And we're gonna begin in 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen.
Now is the time that the church rises up to see the end of abortion.
We've got to make some noise!
How long are we going to wait until we see this injustice taken care of?
We are here! We are here! We are here!
Do you believe we can do this?
Yes, I believe we can do this.
Come on, Mr. Nice Guy.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? This is your boy, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Chris Rush, Mayor Whoville. Welcome. All Hands on Deck Media, baby. We got a packed show for you guys today. We are a movement. We are a movement. You can leave it right there, pause, fine. We are a movement. We're saying all hands on deck right now, ladies and gentlemen. Are you here? Are you on the boat? Are you involved? Are you active? Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. If not now, then when? Your children are dependent on this. Your future is dependent on this. Our nation is dependent on this. The return of Christ, the Lord says that he would hasten the day of the Lord. We should be hastening his day. And we're saying all hands on deck right now for hastening the day of the Lord. Right now, we're calling for you to get on board. Thank you for watching this. And we got a great show for you guys. We are about that politics, man. We're about that abolition of abortion. We're about that biblical, spiritual show. We're also about that fatherhood, encouraging fathers to join the movement. And I'm telling you right now, we got a crazy show for you. We're gonna dive into some political things real quick, for some political news this week that is on my heart, my mind. We're gonna go into some little bit of details of party stuff, some basic things, because I want to just, lay out some basic groundwork for you guys who are just kind of getting involved, dabbing your feet in. Maybe you're watching this show or listening to. I never started the actual show. The recording.
Uh-oh. But you're live on YouTube?
But we're live on YouTube, baby. We're going to do this all over again for all you guys. This is live radio, amateurs at work. Start it all over. You ready?
Okay.
You guys going to get... Okay, I'm going to start. Go.
Now is the time that the church rises up to see the end of abortion.
We've got to make some noise!
How long are we going to wait until we see this injustice taken care of?
We are here! We are here! We are here!
Do you believe we can do this?
Yes, I believe we can do this.
Come on, Mr. Nice Guy.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Chris Rush, Mayor Whoville. Just a little bit. Take it down a little bit. This is your boy. Let's go. All Hands on Deck Media, thank you for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We are that movement. We are the movement that is saying all hands on deck for the end of abortion. All hands on deck right now for getting involved politically. All hands on deck in the sense of getting on that boat, getting ready for Jesus' return. All fathers on deck. Now's the day. Yes, sir. And we're so happy that you're here to join us. Let's get it. Gotta let the war music ride out, you know what I'm saying? It's that war music. ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in to All Hands on Deck Media. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for watching this. We got a packed show today. Right now, we got in the studio. He's waiting to join us in a minute, but we got Clifton Williams. He's going to be joining us later on. He's going to be giving us crazy testimony, crazy stuff that God is doing. It's gonna be like a whole hour, just Holy Ghost being blasted to the wall. Paul, you're gonna have to listen to it later probably, but it's gonna be pretty amazing. We got a packed show today. We're gonna be getting into some political news of the week, talking a little bit of abolition things. We got my boy Clifton here, and we're gonna be talking about fatherhood. But once again, you guys, All Hands on Deck Media, we are here for the movement of God. We are here to see. Fathers come into their calling. We're here to see the issue of the murder of innocent children come to cease to exist. Okay, at least as the mass numbers that they are today. I think murder is murder. You can't abolish murder until Jesus returned. But we could abolish legal murder. Can I get an amen with that?
Amen.
And, so. We're also here to help you, who know nothing, like I know nothing, of getting involved politically. You are called to be salt and light on this earth. You were called to, as adults, if you're a young man, if you're a young woman, whatever, old, whatever, we're called to be involved politically. We can't be just sitting here like, oh, it's just, that's just over there, and I'm not going to really bother with it, and I'm going to just, pray until Jesus return, and we're supposed to do that. Actually, what I wanted to get into is that we're supposed to pray and watch. The Bible says watch and pray. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Watch and pray. So praying is communication with the Lord. I mean, I don't really have to hopefully dissect that with you guys. It's a back and forth communication with God, knowing his voice, hearing him, walking with him, right? But watching is watching what's going on in society, watching what's going on around you, watch what's going on politically, what is going on in society, so that you can be a prophetic interpreter of what God is saying in this day and age. What is God saying today? God is not a God of like the old days. He's the God of today. He is the God of the now. He's the urban God. He's the relevant God. He's not just the God of the biblical times. He's the God of today. And so what is he saying regarding everything that's going around us? And so we appreciate you guys watching All Hands on Deck Media. Where hopefully hopefully some of my people on Facebook, if you're watching this, you could go to YouTube. You can make some comments there. You go to YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't. No.
You don't? How about you go to YouTube, you find this video until I'm ready to get, and then maybe if there's anybody commenting on that video, or even open it up on Facebook too for yourself. So if people are, yes, sir. I don't know how, let me see how it works real quick if I clicked on it on Facebook. Go to YouTube, All Hands on Deck Media. And then you should see a live video that's live. But yeah, if you comment on this video on YouTube right now on the page, we'll see your comments. So those of you who want to interact that way, that's what we're going to be doing. Clifton, I see that picture you put up on me. I don't really like all that much, but that's okay. I think I'll live, right?
You're gonna live.
So, yep, we're doing on air producing. That's what we do here at All Hands on Deck Media. But real quick, so we're going to get into political news real quick. But before I get started with that, I want to just encourage you guys, like I told you last week, that I felt like God was telling me when I was at church in prayer that that it's the time now to for me to get back into full-time ministry. And we really want All Hands on Deck to be self-sustaining and, be able to run advertisement. What's going on, bro? All Hands on Deck is one word, bro. Don't you know this word? Don't you know? Oh, okay. All Hands on Deck is always one word. All right. But I felt like the Lord was telling us that it's time for us to kind of do this as a full-time thing. We want to be able to, mainly what we're doing is kind of like a ministry, right? We're talking about God. We're talking but I felt like the Lord was telling us that, yep, that's okay.
Just stop it then?
Well, just mute it in your end.
Oh, okay.
And then if you just follow comments and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
If someone comments.
Okay.
Yep. So, Yeah, and so we're talking about God, we're doing evangelism in one level. We're talking about fatherhood. We want to disciple young men in that. We're talking about abolition, ending abortion. I mean, what more glorious calling can that be? And we're also talking about politics. And so we're hoping to do this full time. We're gonna need your help. We're gonna need partners to be able to do this. We're looking at least right now for 300 people to partner with us for $10 a month. If you're able to do more, that'd be great. If you're able to do less, that's even that'd be great. $5 or whatever. If you're able to do $5 a month, $2 a week or whatever, that'd be great. Because that's going to help at least get our foot in the door, so we could pay for our bills, we could pay for the space, we could continue to bring you and get better in quality as we give you better quality, and we're going to continue to be a movement that actually helps hopefully shapes the culture. So I don't think there's there are there's a short list of things that could be better to give your money to than this. I believe this movement, what we're doing. So we're looking for 300 partners at $10 a month. Like I said, if you could do more, even tied to this movement, that'd be even better. And so yeah, please go to our website, All Hands on Deck Media, and our All Hands on Deck Media is really cool because it's under construction, but it's getting better every few days. It's getting better and better. It's looking legit. So visit All Hands on Deck Media. I think my latest article is there, and there's a donate button, and you see the format there. And we're developing the website, and hopefully we'll be here for years to come. So anyway, all right. Well, let's get right into it this week. A couple things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to kind of hit on. Some big stuff that kind of struck me and kind of upset me. So I guess the first one on the list I have right now is, well, I guess we'll hit first Trump. Okay, so Donald Trump, right, President-elect Trump, he's going to be your president, ladies and gentlemen. This week, he during the campaign trail, this man nonstop said over and over, even on the debate show, like, you're lucky there's not somebody in office. Wait, let's be glad there's not somebody in office like Donald Trump. Hillary said, he's like, yeah, because you'll be in jail, and the crowd goes wild, right? I mean, his rallies are lock her up, and and then he even said, and that's what we should have pulled up, the audio of him saying, I will get a special prosecutor to look into Hillary. We just have to. We have to be a nation of laws. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even into the inauguration. I already told you guys this was going to happen, and I understand for us supporting him when we had no choice, when it was no. But for those of you who were Trump supporters the whole time through, I do blame you guys most of the time. But he's already betrayed his promises, even on the simple thing of keeping the law that Hillary broke. And he doesn't even have to do anything. If he assigns a special prosecutor, they have to prosecute it. It's not him actually doing it. So if she didn't break the law, she'd be fine. Let's play Donald Trump's campaign manager respond. Just go ahead and roll that clip real quick.
Okay, Kellyanne Conway. Yeah.
Well, obviously, we had the breaking news this morning that Donald Trump's not going to be pursuing investigations against Hillary, and the administration's going to. Do you think he'll encourage Republicans on the Hill to stay away from that as well and focus more on their legislative agenda?
I think when the president-elect, who's also the head of your party now, Joe, tells you before he's even inaugurated he doesn't wish to pursue these charges, it sends a very strong message, tone and content to the members. And I think Hillary Clinton still has to face the fact that a majority of Americans don't find her to be honest or trustworthy. But if Donald Trump can help her heal, then perhaps that's a good thing. Look, I think he's thinking of many different things as he prepares to become the president of the United States. And things that sound like the campaign aren't among them.
It's time for her to heal. And that's what also he said. I don't want to hurt her. I want to give her time to heal. Give her time to heal? What kind of craziness is this? And this is I don't even know why I was that upset about it, because it's just proof of what I've always said about this guy, that he is an opportunist, that he was friends with them. He literally spent the 90s defending Hillary Clinton or defending Bill Clinton over his rape allegations and all his sexual abuse. He defended him, right? And it was gave her recent money in 2008 to run against Obama. Okay? Invited to her, pay her to go to your wedding. And so all of it's a show. And I just get so upset for some of you guys who really believe that this man is actually like really true to his word. He's a liar. He will say anything to get elected. And this is so upsetting to go around and saying I'm gonna, and then now they're trying to spin it like, oh, he's just gonna be so presidential and worry about the important things of the country. Give me a break, bro. The important things is, did she break the law? You guys have said it's a big deal. You said it's a big deal. So if it's a big deal, then move forward. We already filled out Obama and the Department of Justice, Lynch, Reletta Lynch.
Loretta Lynch.
Yeah, just that these people are not treating her fairly because they're giving her a free pass because she's the queen, and now we elected you because part of people wanted to see justice done, and he's already walking that back and playing I'm the big, like he's the high ground. It's betrayal. You can say so. I don't know. I'm just go ahead. Help me in my rant right now because
I'm not all that surprised about it, but everything you say is right on. But to tell you the truth, I totally expected him to walk this back. And there is the theory out there that maybe he's just doing this because he doesn't want Obama to pardon Hillary before he leaves office.
Yeah, we could hold it.
So who knows? There's an argument there too, but
I wish he was that slick. I don't think he's that slick. I think he's truly like, these are my buddies. I don't want to hurt her. I want her to heal. You want her to heal? What?
Yeah, I don't think he's that slick either.
Yeah, I don't think he's that slick, and it's just so I'm upset for you, even though I'm just like Paul. Like I knew he was gonna do this, and he's gonna do lots of this. But it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting to be clearly saying, "I will do this. I will get a special prosecutor," and now say, "You know what? Let's let her heal." This woman who has millions of dollars, let her heal. She's in the Hamptons. I mean, let her heal. She's. I don't what like she got beat up. You were exalted to like the queenhood of this nation. What do you need to heal for? You lost.
But there are 4 or 5 congressional investigations still going on, so maybe some justice might still come of it. But I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
at this point.
It's just man. So there you guys have it, man. Not even before we even get to January, he's already wanted her to heal. And this is what Washington does. This is why you should have supported Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz did not care. He didn't care if it was popular or not, or heal or not. Justice. He would have got in there and he would have been like, well, we're going to move forward with this. I don't care if, whatever, it doesn't matter. Trump can be influenced by simple people. I mean, he can be influenced by his daughter. Be like, Chelsea just called me and Dad, do we really need to do this? Yeah, that's what
I could totally see that playing out.
Yeah. I mean, he was already influenced by her when it comes to Planned Parenthood. It's like, Dad, Planned Parenthood does good things. And therefore, he started saying Planned Parenthood does good things because his daughter told him so. And so and everyone should know this already, he's a populist. He's going to just move with the popular idea. Meaning and that's even Obama said that. Even Obama said that the last couple of weeks that he's like, after talking to him, he's like, I don't, hold on, let me do it real quick. Talking to Obama, and I talked to Trump, and he doesn't seem like he doesn't really have any true. What was the word he used?
Principles?
No, it was like he's not really an idealist. Or not, ideologue. And I think and Democrats love that. They love that. I mean, this is why the establishment, as you want, this anti-establishment, they like Trump more than they like Cruz because he could be influenced because he doesn't really have an anchor. And so there you have it for that. Also want to get into real quick, speaking of Obama, and this man also really upset me really a lot this week when, we've had 8 years of Obama. We've had 8 years of him being a celebrity. We've had 8 years of him, lecturing us and lecturing. And, one of the cool things about being a president is that you get this platform. You get to lecture. Everything you say, you get that. The people elect you, and everyone who doesn't like you just has to deal. But the good thing about elections and 8 years terms and all that, or 4-year terms, is that after you're gone, the ideal is we're now going to be hearing a lecture from someone else, and we're done hearing your lecturing. And, if you really ask yourself this, how much has George Bush George Bush II said since Obama's been elected? Like,
About 10 words.
I don't know anything he said since he's left office. Anything. And even when George Bush was in it, even though I wasn't following politics, I don't know if Bill Clinton said anything about George Bush.
No, not much.
Yeah. And so the ideal is that as the presidency, there's kind of an order. You get this huge platform for years, this huge platform. And then when you're done, you're literally go silent. Like, that's the beauty of it. You go, because you're blessed to be on the top, now go silent. But will Obama do that? So Obama was asked, will he give the same courtesy that George Bush has given him? Let's roll that clip real quick.
The specifics of some legislative proposal or battle, but go to core questions about our values and our ideals. And if I think that it's necessary or helpful for me to defend those ideals, then I'll examine it when it comes.
The president praised.
I mean, really? He doesn't know enough to go, no, I'm not going to say anything. If he comes in office and he removes everything I did 8 years, I'm not going to say anything, because as president, that's just kind of the what am I word I'm using for it? It's kind of the
protocol.
The protocol. I'm not going to say anything. No. Obama's been called narcissist for a long time. And I think this actually, here's another clear example of it. You don't need to examine it later on. You don't need to defend your thing. Defend it today. You got a month to defend your whatever you think is right. We don't need you. But I understand it. The thing is, he's young. It's hard. When you've been elevated and you've been given a platform or a celebrity or whatever, it's really hard to lose that, or to when no one cares what you think anymore. You know what I'm saying? And not to get life from the crowds of people around you. And so I think he's going to really struggle when he leaves office. We got a bomb going off here. He's going to really struggle leaving office, because the ideal is Obama. We don't, and I think the left would still give him his platform if he wants to jump in. So that's Obama being Obama, which really is just kind of disappointing that he can't keep it together, at least for that. We're going to go into, well, no, let's just keep flowing. I think we should do at least maybe another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
But remember, you start low, so go ahead and get that ready to start low, right? Yep. So also I want to get into real quick, obviously the big news, and it's Friday. So you guys already heard this a bunch of time, but the Hamilton clip is Mike Pence goes out to Hamilton and to see Hamilton. I've heard lots about this play. I'm not really all that interested in seeing it. I'm just not, especially after this clip. He goes out to see the play, and one of the main characters wants to give a message to the vice president, the vice president elect. So let's play that clip real quick.
And Vice President-elect Pence, I see you walking out, but I hope you will hear us just a few more moments. There's nothing to boo here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to boo here. We're all here sharing a story of love. We have a message for you, sir. We hope that you will hear us out. And I encourage everybody to pull out your phones and tweet and post, because this message needs to be spread far and wide, okay? Vice President-elect Pence, we welcome you, and we truly thank you for joining us here at Hamilton, an American Musical. We really do. We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us.
You can stop it there. What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
I have no idea.
What is he talking about? Somebody tell me, what is this man talking about? What are you talking about? I just wish we should go line by line real quick. Let's rewind that. And I'm going to say stop, because you're like,
I already closed it.
Oh, you already closed it. That's fine. Okay. We're anxious and fear that what inalienable rights are you afraid he's going to take away? Truly, What inalienable rights are you talking about? Like life, liberty, what is that? And I'm trying to understand that because it's like this is what they're doing. They treated him like the boogeyman. They want to treat like Donald Trump might have said some things that were off, and of course, and I think there are some things, honestly, like I think some of the stuff, like he attacking the Mexican judge, that was actually kind of racist. Like, like I said before, do I think he's a racist? No, I think that he's like New York liberal guy who doesn't really, he's kind of like he don't really know, he ain't been around black people all that much, or he doesn't really know how to politically correctly say things. But I don't think he's a racist, and I don't think he's a like he says take away a right, the only thing I can think of is like a gay thing. Like, okay, what do you think he's gonna and Donald Trump's been pro-gay.
Yep.
You guys have this is what upsets me. Like, they have the most.
Some of this is just totally made up.
It's totally made up in propaganda because this is a Republican nominee, or not nominee. Yeah, the nominee who's holding up a gay flag during the general election. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that? I mean, what are you talking about? For all of us. What are you talking about? Because you lost now. Was Hillary gonna be the president for all of us too? It's just so propagandish. It really upsets me because it's like this front, like we're so worried and we're so scared. You're gonna be like all of us. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, they're trying to imply that he's a white nationalist because he has ties to this so-called alt-right. And frankly, I don't really know a whole lot about what this alt-right is, but apparently we have to investigate because that's what the liberals are trying to claim, that he's got ties to Nazis and white nationalists.
It just makes it. Yeah, I guess, but I don't even know if he's coming from that angle. I feel like it's like you're white.
You mean Trump?
Or this Hamilton guy. I don't even think he's that deep of like alt-rightness. And
I
feel like it's more like you're a white guy, you're a white president, and are you going to care about black people? But it's like y'all ran a white woman. Like, I don't understand where she cares more about the black community than Donald Trump. Like, where do we get that from?
Yeah, that's just
this lecturing
because she's a liberal.
It's so annoying, and they don't understand. This is what makes me want to. And no, I don't like Donald Trump, and no, I don't like. Well, I don't like Mike Pence either. Really, to be honest with you, it makes me want to defend them because you're lecturing this future vice president off of nothing. Like, you wasted that time. You could have actually said something of substance. I don't know. I just don't see where Mike, if he really went home and reflect, what he's like, okay, how am I not like? What is he? I don't want to. That is that. What's up, Cliff? Cliff is in the studio. All right, real quick, we're going to go into a break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up political stuff. I want to talk about start low. You're high right now, and when we come back, let's go ahead and start that really online. I mean, really, start lower and get up there. Go ahead and play it. Okay. But nobody compares to him. When we come back, I want to talk about real quick the differences between Republican, Democrat, kind of just some basic things like that. Then we're going to switch into talking about abolition and Thanksgiving and all that. So, yep, All Hands on Deck Radio.
But then they say my God is dated. My generation is so jaded. In sinking sand, don't place your hope.
Yeah, we'll do a commercial right now. We'll do my book. There's no one on Facebook right now. Are you noticing this? Like, not one. But you're watching, so I'm happy. Thanks for watching. Let's. Huh?
You want?
Oh, is it?
You want music over here?
Yeah. So the problem with just happened is that song that you played is for commercial. Sorry, the worship song is for break.
Oh, I got them mixed up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's fine. So that's okay. But leave the song that you're on now because we're gonna do.
Should
commercial.
I just do that for the commercial then?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody compares to him.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? This is Chris Rush, Mayor of Whoville. Thank you for listening to this podcast, All Hands on Deck Media. Yes, sir. Wanted to tell you guys real quick about my book, Another Tornado is Coming. here in studio right now, holding the book with one of my guys who is in this book, Clifton Williams. And I'm just going to ask that you guys go buy this book on Amazon.com. This book is a book that felt like the Lord had me write to really explain, when a tornado came to North Minneapolis, and God really gave me like some prophetic understanding of why it came. And so that's what this book talks about. Also, he gave me kind of some visions and dreams about another one possibly coming. And I wrote about that. But then the also cool part about this book is that if you ever wonder why, does God still judge cities or nations? Does God still judge the earth? And will he judge the earth? I really kind of lay out a good case of why God does that and why that's important for us to have that part of our DNA to know God. So another tornado is coming. You can go to Amazon.com and you can look up Christopher Rush, and you can get that, and you can support the broadcast by doing that. Really appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. See you guys later. All hands on deck.
Classism, racism ain't that much different. Don't place all hope in politicians.
Sorry, we're gonna have to do that again.
What happened?
I hit record, but I just had to hit unpause, so that whole thing didn't get recorded.
To Audacity?
To Audacity.
Okay.
That's all right.
So, YouTube Live or...
YouTube Live, thank you guys for watching.
Take two.
Take two, YouTube Live. Hi, all right.
Okay, ready?
Okay, go ahead. Turn it up.
Nobody compares to him. Yeah, that's why I love him. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris Rush, All Hands on Deck Media. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I'm right here holding in studio my book, All Hands on Deck. Holding my book, Another Tornado's Coming. And I'm actually in studio with a guy who's, is part of that story. And my book, Another Tornado Coming, you can find it on Amazon.com. And this book is about God showing us, giving us kind of some understanding of a tornado, some prophetic understanding about why a tornado came to North Minneapolis. So a tornado came to North Minneapolis, and God kind of gave us some understanding of what that means and what is it saying, and also kind of, maybe some visions and dreams and some understanding of another one coming. And so that's what this book is about. The other part about this book is also talking about, does God still judge cities and nations? Why does he does that? If he's a God of love, how does a God of love do this? And I think that's a really important thing for us, the church, to know that, because the book of Revelation hasn't happened yet, you guys. And there's a lot of judgments in that. And God still looks at the cities and nations like he did in the Old Testament, I believe. So if you want more understanding on that, we actually guys to go support the book. Go to get Another Tornado's Coming on Amazon.com and help support the broadcast. We appreciate you guys for listening to the podcast. Thanks.
You making plans, you making friends. Then you find out later they ain't really your friends. Cause all these people can let you down.
Now go to the worship song as we go in.
Ready?
Am I ready? We're a little bit more. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what you're hearing right now is All Sons and Daughters.
You give light, you are love. You bring light to the darkness, you give hope.
All right, well, we're back with All Hands on Deck Media. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to our show. And that is All Sons and Daughters. Great are you, Lord. Yes, it's a great worship song. Great is the Lord. How mighty and majestic and how amazing he is. And we just appreciate him. We just take it all out. Yep. And I actually meant to start the show off with prayer. I actually have that up there right there. It's never too late. It's never too late. Actually, go ahead and hit play on that real quick while we're. So, God, we just thank you for this show. We thank you for All Hands on Deck Media. We thank you for this movement. We thank you for everybody that's watching. We ask, Lord, that you will just speak to us, guide us, use us, so that we could be messengers to the world, that we could shine the light of Jesus Christ. We give you this show. We say, how great are you? You are amazing. God, you sit outside the circle of time, earth, all of it's yours. You are amazing. You see all of our thoughts. You see us everywhere we're at. God, you're bigger than the world. You're amazing. So we just love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, we're back. All Hands on Deck Media. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get into real quick. I just wanted to kind of just brush up on something real quick, and then we're kind of going to get into some Thanksgiving stuff. I know Thanksgiving was yesterday. I know we're probably more in the Christmas mood today, but we're going to hit on a little bit of Thanksgiving real quick just to kind of brush on that. But real quick, let me just brush on. A lot of times people, especially people my age now, a lot of people don't like to kind of pin themselves with a political party. A lot of people go, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. And I appreciate that. I actually do on one level appreciate that because people are saying, I'm not just, don't box me in. But on some level though, boxes can be good because there are platforms or ideas that come with boxes, right? So, when you are, yeah, well, we'll just stick with political parties and not even give you an example. So, like, for instance, when you say you're part of this party, what it means is that I adopt their core principles. I adopt their platform. That's that's what I mean. A party lays out their platform, and it lays out what they stand for, and what they hope to accomplish, and so when you kind of look at political sides. A lot of times you kind of you could fall into one of those sides and not know it. And I think it's important to know which each side stands for. So we might not go too deep today, but I thought it'd be kind of good to at least give some basic understanding of like Democrat and Republican stuff. Yes. Hold on one second real quick. Paul, did you pull up something, some basic kind of email or something like that?
Well, I did a little bit of surface research on that. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got for us right there?
Yeah. So I mean, as far as just some general differences between the Democrat and Republican Party, I guess, and the two terms that are usually associated between the two is Democrats are liberal, Republicans are conservative. So by liberal, that generally means on tax policy and spending that Democrats want to spend more money. They want to tax you more, and they want to do that to gain more control over your life because the more of your money they take from you.
Hold on. Going too deep.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, just
All
tell
right.
me how deep you want me to go.
Yeah. We can go deep into that. So here, I just pulled up a little graphic, little Google graphic. So this is kind of funny. So this little graphic says, okay, Republican, Democrat, right? On one part it says for the Republican, wealthier backgrounds, Democrat, working class background. And he chuckles because I think you could probably, I don't know what it was like back in the 50s or 60s. That stereotype might have been true then. That's not necessarily the stereotype today, because a lot of the Democratic Party, I mean, a lot of their supporters, a lot of their base are rich people, are they're not Hollywood, and they're a lot. Democratic Party is not poor at all, and I don't know if the wealthier background this is saying of the Republicans. Now, I think what comes to difference between, I'm trying to be fair, and then we could go why they say what they say, is that Republicans normally, they say, well, the party of the rich. And what I say right away to that, my first little niche is like, well, don't you want to be rich? It doesn't. But what it means, what they're saying is that they're for lower taxes. They're for helping people who have money kind of keep their money. And you go, well, so they're for the rich in the sense that like they want that if you're a business owner, you actually do kind of want a Republican in leadership because it's kind of like what Dave Chappelle said the other day, even though that didn't show on it didn't show on whatever. But Dave Chappelle said, he said, my rich friend's talking about, Dave, I'm going to leave the country. It's time to go. And he you ready to go? And Dave was like, nah, man, I'm going to stay here and get these tax breaks, see how it work out, So even that stereotype he understands, like, and if you think that's bad, if you think about that, why is that bad? Like, if you have money, like, me taking your money shouldn't be like a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But so
some people might call that legalize theft. Actually,
Yeah, a lot of people call that legal. Yeah, they do. And so, but and the Democrats normally say this. So they're for the poor people. So that's kind of the stereotype you hear. Well, so how are they for the poor people? What are they doing? So what they're saying, they're advocating, saying, well, they're for the poor because they're willing to take more money from people who already have to people who have money and give it, Robin Hood, give it to other people through welfare, through programs. I don't know how else they help the poor because I don't think they actually help the poor, but how they think they're helping the poor, you know what I mean? Programs and things like that, right?
Yeah, endless government programs. When you say welfare, that encompasses a lot of different programs, such as food stamps, unemployment, which
Well,
unemployment
you pay in, though,
that's
right?
somewhat legitimate.
Yeah.
But food stamps and welfare. Just giving money. to
Medicaid,
people.
maybe, right?
Medicaid is a part of that. Yeah.
So, so I'm trying to give them the benefit of that. So they're saying, hey, we're for the poor. We're willing to, take more money from people who have money because we want to help other people who don't have money, or help people who don't, totally are broke. And so, what I would say is that, left wing, right wing, you need both wings to fly, right? But what I would say is this: because obviously I come from more of a conservative background, I'm gonna be lean right on this and say this is that Republicans, and I've worked for the Republican Party. I know a lot of Republicans, and some of them got money, and I'm sure if I had but a lot of them don't have money. And when the idea is this, is that economics work like this. They understand that when you cut taxes for people groups, or when you cut taxes for business and companies, what people actually do with that money is they actually don't just spend it on clothes. And even if they did, that's helping the economy. They actually reinvest that money. People who have, believe me, when you have, I don't want to say believe me, but I don't want to say I have a lot of rich friends, but when you have $50,000 in the bank, right? Or let's say a lot of money. Let's just not even put a number on it. You got $1 million. You're not. There's nothing you can't really get. You know what I mean? You're like, I could get, but what you're always thinking about, well, what more can I get? Like material. Like what more, in sense, business money can I make? What can I invest in to make bigger sums of money? And when they invest, that creates more jobs. That creates more stimulus, like an actual stimulus to actually, if I invest in. If me and Paul, we have a business that we're going to be starting soon of opening franchises. So we had an extra 20 grand sitting around. We were like, oh yeah, we could open up a franchise that's like and most people think of food, but just throw
like
out
anything, a Burger King, McDonald's.
Yeah,
whatever.
let's say, and me and Paul had extra money and we weren't getting taxed crazy. Then we could sit here and partner together and create a Burger King, which would then create more jobs for, I don't hate to say poor people, for people in the lower class, right? If you recognize,
but we won't do that as long as taxes are high and as long as
we'll be scared to do that.
Burdensome Obamacare that's telling you you're going to be fined if you don't provide health insurance for your full-time employees.
That's the other thing.
So all of that is what's keeping our economy from taking off.
People who have money are like, you know what? I might as well just keep my money because is it really worth my investment if I put money into that? Now, the other side, what I would say is that, there is a value into, because I think the stereotype is that we probably just want to take all that stuff away, welfare, all that. And I don't think that's actually what the reality is, because I know these people, they don't really want to take it away. They're saying, listen, can we trim it back? Can we not? Because I'm going to say I'm from the hood, but I know the hood. I'm from the hood. And we've seen people, I don't know, Clifton, you agree with this. We've seen people who abuse the system, right? Who totally just take advantage of this and be like, yeah. Now, do I see people who use the system, who really need it? Yes. I've seen single moms need it. I've seen it. I've been part of that one level, helping kids, mentor kids, and, single people.
When you got people standing outside grocery stores trying to sell you their food stamps that they're supposed to be spending on their children, there's something wrong with the system.
Right. I don't know if you heard. He says if you're sitting outside the grocery store, or whatever, selling your food stamps instead of spending on the children, there's something wrong. Or if you're buying liquor, or I doubt you can't buy with liquor, but when you're buying extravagant stuff, I think you can buy a lot of stuff with it. So the reality, the real world says, we should do something about it. Me and my wife would crack up because people on our block be fighting over their EBT stuff, and it'd be like, well, brother, you can get what you. I'm working 40 hours. What you doing, bro? What you fighting over this money? And so, So the idea that Republicans would take it away is not true, but I understand the idea that Democrats want to help people. They want to help, and I just don't think they understand that like the way we help people is like helping the hood isn't the hood, because the hood isn't hood because we lack more government programs. The hood is the hood because we need more of those people to invest. We need people who have money to come invest it in the city and create a business, create something that gives more jobs, right? Not we don't need no more. Not I like nonprofits. Obviously, we have a nonprofit, right? But nonprofits don't create much business, and a lot of the city has nonprofits. But when you give an inner city a business, or when you have a rich person who's like, you know what, I'm gonna invest in this city, that's gonna help that. Okay, that's just that was okay. It says here too, rural is Republican, urban is Democrat. You can't argue with that. That's pretty much kind of what happened with the election. A lot of the urban areas are Democratic and the rural areas are Republican. Um, this is a big one right here. Believe in the individualism is Republican, and believe in collectivism. That is huge, and we'll talk about this more later. This is kind of the foundation because I want to talk about socialism and communism and stuff you were talk about where you were going deep into it. But this is a huge point. Republicans or conservatives, or what we say we believe, kind of the platform is that we believe in the individual, that you have an individual responsibility for your own life and you can make it. And that's one thing I appreciate about becoming a Republican. I always struggle saying it because I have issues with them on some deeper stuff, but that's because they're not more hardcore in their beliefs. But is that when I was a Democrat, right? You always be like, man, the rich people keeping us down, the 1%, the millionaires, the billionaires, all of them, right? I don't think that actually creates like a desire in you to do better. But when I became kind of more Republican, it was more like you can be a millionaire. You can do this. We're trying to We're trying to give you lower taxes or whatever, a platform where you can do that. And it felt like, man, I can be this. It made me realizing like being more conservative. Like, wow, I can become that millionaire. I have nothing, but this party, this platform inspires me for that. Which the other platform says your issues and why you're poor is because these people won't give you more money. It's like, yeah, they keeping us down. They ain't keeping me down. A lot of us we talk about the rich get rich, but we ain't never pick up a book on how rich people get rich. We never picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. We never pick up other financial books or study these people out, right? Shark Tank should be inspiring us like crazy, you know? And if you watch Shark Tank enough, you're going to be inspired to go do something. And so that's one thing. And we already kind of talked about this. Republicans are known for lower taxes, and then Democrats, it says higher taxes for the wealthy.
Yeah, right.
Because that's the only people that have money to take anyways.
Well, no, that must be from a Democrat website, because that's always what they say. Well, we just want to tax those handful of millionaires out there, and we want to give all the middle class lower taxes. But that's a lie too.
Right, because you can't. I'll say this, and we're gonna move on. Let me just make this clear for some of you guys, like Bernie Sanders and stuff. You're never gonna. I'm sorry, if you think you're going to come after the billionaires' money, you're not. I'm just letting you know they are. I won't say above us, and hear me when I say above us. They're above us on one level. Like they know tax breaks. They know things.
They are insulated from the system.
They not playing around with their money, homie. So as you reach to go grab for theirs, they looking at you like, yo, you don't understand. I got trust funds and this funds and blue funds
the
and
double Irish.
Yeah,
you want me to explain that real quick?
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
Okay, take Google and Facebook for instance. They're based in California, but their corporation is based in Ireland. So what they do?
Really?
Yeah, Ireland has a lower tax rate of 15% corporate rate. So what they do is they run their profits out of Ireland. They run their losses out of California, and it works out to almost a 0% tax rate. And so they pay almost no taxes. Now, of course, Google and Facebook are these, good liberal companies, right? That are, say they're helping everybody. But this is what they're really doing, because ultimately they answer to their shareholders. So, it's just accounting tricks like that. They have very sophisticated ways of getting out of paying any taxes at all.
Right. Very sophisticated ways. I'm really hoping your voice is being picked up on Audacity right now, but we'll see.
I hope so too. I can hear it pretty loud over here. But...
Yeah, I hope it's okay. I think when you did that popped it up. All right. So my point is this: is that who you're going to end up grabbing are new millionaires, because you're reaching for the billionaire, right? He's not going to let you touch his money, homie. He ain't going to do it. But you can't even get to his level. Even Bernie Sanders was asked, well, how are you going to do this? He didn't really have a way. There's no real way to do that. But what you will grab are the new millionaires, the 10 millionaires, the 20 millionaires, the 5 millionaires too. And those are the people who want, when you have that much money, you're thinking about how you can be a billionaire in the back of your mind. You may not fully want to be that, but you have the resources to create more businesses, more companies. So what you're going to be doing is pulling down the millionaires, the new millionaires who could be investing and making more money into the community and societies. So you never really hit those guys. You're only hurting when those people are the middle class people, and you are hurting the middle class. So when they say, for the wealthy, you're not going to get higher taxes for the wealthy. You're going to get it. The wealthy, if you call it. I remember one time, we'll move forward, I was talking to a guy during the primary, this guy, and Cruz was just here, and I was so excited, and I talked to this guy at the gas station. He's like, oh, I'm a Bernie supporter. I'm like, oh, okay, why are you a Bernie supporter? He's like, free college or something like that. And I said, well, who's going to pay for that? He says, the rich people. And I go, okay, well, what do you consider rich? He goes, anyone making, he said, anyone making, like, I think he said $100,000 or maybe $200,000. I was like, you think that's rich? Like, now that is wealthy in one level. Like, if you ain't got, compared to me right now, yes. But, like, that's their mind frame. That's who you know what I mean? You want the guy who has $200,000 to pay for your college? That's not fair for him. We can go deeper later. I just wanted to kind of touch on some basic things. So send me some questions, or we'll touch bases more on that real quick later on. I think, because what time are you leaving? Got to leave in about 10 minutes?
20 minutes. 20
minutes? Cool. We're going to go into a break time real quick, and then we'll come back. Start low and go high. We'll come back and we'll touch on Thanksgiving, fatherhood. And then from there, Clifton and I are going to be having a crazy time talking about some crazy things. You don't want to miss it. Okay, so
you give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope. You restore every heart that is broken.
I guess I should in a second. Go ahead and do that.
Great are you, Lord.
You can stop that. Stop playing in my ears. I think I have it here. And yeah, then we could just plug it up here. How's YouTube doing? I don't. Cliff, do you see anything?
Watching now on YouTube.
I am so shocked that Facebook is so dead. I've never seen it that dead for me.
Could be Friday after. Okay, should I play the commercial music?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I love it. Yeah. So many flavors coming.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? It's your boy Chris Rush, Mayor Whoville. Thank you for listening to All Hands on Deck Media. We wanted to come to you guys and just thank you for listening, and we also want to ask if you would consider partnering with us in this venture. We are really looking for All Hands on Deck to be a huge kind of media empire. I mean, we want to have a thriving website. We want to be able to have videos, full-time employees who are working on abolition. We want this office space to be filled with people pushing our agenda, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ, which is fatherhood, ending abortion, and righteousness in politics, and moving forward in politics. So I'm asking if you would go to allhandsondeck media.com and click on the PayPal button there, and commit to maybe giving us $10 a month. We're looking for 300 people to give $10 a month. If you're able to do more than that, that'd be great. If you want to consider tithing to this, that'd be even better, because this is going to be an amazing venture, and I don't think that there's a better a better kind of mission to give this to. We're trying to inspire fathers. We're trying to end abortion. We're trying to take over. I'm looking to hopefully do a tour one day. You know, we do an all hands on deck tour. You know what I mean? Go around and giving this message with artists and people. So anyway, we got a big plan, but would you help us at least get started on basic things, or just like paying our bills and allowing us to be more full-time in creating articles and things like that for you guys. So please go to allhandsondeckmedia.com. Please donate there. And we thank you and we appreciate and there's also an address on that website if you would like to send a check. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. No, keep going. Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
Oh, sorry.
Do something to you, cause someone's pleasure may brutally futile. You stay true, all real, graceful. Thank you, faithful.
No, it's okay. I know we're getting better. It's so funny. Listen to it. It's gonna be,
Now back to the worship music.
Yeah, but pull it up like a minute or because I know we left off at.
Yeah, it's at a minute now.
Did you pull it up to a minute, or it left off at a minute?
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, put it up to 2 minutes then, because I know we were far above that.
Okay, 2 minutes. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. What? We're...
Go ahead. It's okay. Because that door is locked. You can't open it. Clifton, you want to help him with that?
What do you need? We're on recording.
You want to come in and watch?
What'd she say? Hey,
thanks for watching, you guys. All right, you ready? I'm playing it. Go ahead.
Okay, go.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you guys for coming back. All Hands on Deck Media Podcast. We're going to jump into a few things, and we're going to have to let our producer get going pretty soon. But then we got about 12 minutes. That's great. Let's go ahead and set the clock for that. And then we're going to have Clifton Williams join us for an hour, and we're just going to be having a fun time talking. So real quick, Paul, did you have anything regarding Thanksgiving that you wanted to share? So I had to ask Paul as he pulls that up, and I'm going to move the camera a little bit. So, and then how about you?
You want to ask a couple questions?
Yeah, but let's get you slide. Let's get you here.
Can I just stay?
No. Sorry, you can't. I know you're comfortable. You're perfectly comfortable. I'm like, Chris, I don't want to. If you can make it work. All right, while Paul's getting situated, I had to ask Paul, don't move the lamp, just move you. Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe you should have just stayed there. Stay there. Move back the stuff.
Yeah, let me just. Because we're a little bit limited on time.
Yeah, just stay there. I can just move the camera. All right. So we'll just move the camera. Stop being. But then you'll see the backstage of our show, and I don't know if I like that all that much. Let's get you slided as much as you can towards the corner.
All right, how's this?
That's good. Light's not really on you. All right. I'm not in the shot. Okay. So, I had asked if you could I had talked to Paul. I think it's kind of interesting, like the last pull up, Paul. Yep.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to lead my laptop at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm messing around.
Okay.
Maybe I should just move the camera differently.
No, we're cool. We're cool.
Sorry, you guys who are listening to this on podcast right now.
It's only like our third show, so
I know, right?
We're still in beta.
We're still in beta.
Who's watching? 2 people, maybe?
Yeah. Hopefully more. Hopefully more on delay, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, we'll just do it like this. It looks ghetto, but we'll do it like this. So I had asked if you could put together something for Thanksgiving. I think it's really important, you guys, that we. I'm just not comfortable, you guys. We're gonna go back to normal. We're gonna go like this. Go ahead and move back to where you were. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna loosen this thing up and just move it when you talk or something. Or how about you don't need to be on camera, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's what.
Back to the original thought, right? Maybe I should just pause this and cut all that out. All right, so before we were talking about, I think the kind of importance of real history. The last couple of years, I've kind of been learning a little bit more about Thanksgiving. It's kind of funny. When I was young, you have a real romance side of Thanksgiving, and then you get a little older, and then you learn that, well, maybe it wasn't really what it was all that, and it's really bad, and then maybe where Clifton's still at too. But then you learn, well, actually it wasn't as bad as people say it was too. That there's actually a place where, you know, the white people just didn't come here kill all the Indians and we're thanking God for that. You know what I mean? There's actually some background before that. And so let's talk about like the people who left England. And they are what were they called again? The Puritans? Or no, or
Yeah,
that's
well,
later on.
the
The Pilgrims were
the Pilgrims were
okay,
the
the
first
first
group.
batch.
Yeah. Well, there was a group that landed in 1607, but the ones who we're talking about with Thanksgiving landed in 1620, and they were on the ship called the Mayflower, right?
Mhm.
So they left England because of religious persecution, because they wanted to get away from the Church of England, which was the national denomination of the nation at that time. So they came over to the New World so they could practice their religion freely. But they ran into hardship that first winter, and half of the crew died that first winter.
How many came again? Because it was pretty brutal.
I'm thinking, I don't have that number in
Okay,
front
that's
of me, but
fine.
I'm
Well,
thinking
you think it was
around
like four or 500?
I believe it was about 400.
Yeah.
About 400.
Can you imagine that? 400 people show if half of them die over sickness and death and
Right, including the wife of the captain of the ship, William Bradford. His wife perished in that first winter, along with about 200 people. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, so then during the spring, they did gain some skills from the Indians that were there, and they were able to learn some things so that they had a much better harvest the following year. And so they enjoyed a feast with the Indians, and but the Thanksgiving was, they were thankful to the Indians, of course, for the help they got, but they also were thankful to Almighty God because these were God-fearing people, and so obviously they knew that all great things came from God. So that was who the thanks was directed at.
it was directed towards God. You know what's interesting about our nation, and as much I think as the left or as people try to kind of take away the beauty of some of this stuff, is that what nation was founded on what nation was founded on like this type of history. Um, Sorry, guys, I just got distracted on something. But this type of history where the first people coming here, I mean, in a sense of just Christianity, gave thanks to the God of the Bible.
Yep.
I mean, from the very first people here, that's what happened. And, we could say, sorry, I'm a guy, so I can do one thing at once. Like, people, the founders, or not the founders, but people weren't perfect in history, right? People weren't perfect, and I'm sure obviously there's lots of abuses that the Indians, the natives took. But I mean, on one level, good people were here. Good people blessed this land. Good people, and I think that there's a sense of pride that we should have, that our nation from the very beginning, people were thanking God, even when, like you said, their friends and families died. You
Yeah.
know, what I mean,
Yeah, that I think is something we really need to bear in mind, because I was on Facebook a little bit yesterday, and I saw there's a few liberals on my thread, and I saw a post particularly from one of my nieces who says, well, today for some is a day of mourning. She said, a day of mourning for what? Because the election didn't go their way, right? And so they didn't want to be thankful.
you know what I think when they say that, that maybe they're talking like her mindset is like, no, when the Pilgrims got here, that was like they started killing all these Indians, and therefore it was a mourning
Well,
because of that.
could
Do you think it
could
means
be
that?
she could have meant that. I don't know, but I know she's very upset about Trump. So it could be either one or a combination of the two. But I think the point to remember
Are
is
they a sponsor of the show?
who
Dasani?
Well, if they're not, they
because
should
they're in
be.
the shot.
Okay.
I'm just teasing. Go ahead.
But no, I think this first group of pilgrims went through about as much of a hardship as you could have endured, and they were still thankful. You know, they still thought it was important to set aside a time to give thanks to Almighty God for their blessings, even though half of their crew had perished. So I think it just kind of shows the mindset of the people of Americans today. We basically live in a nation of adult children, or at least half the population is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they don't get their way, they whine and cry about stuff, and and we have so much abundance in this country. And believe me, I've lived overseas in the Philippines for 5 years, and I've seen real poverty, and there's very little real poverty in America, and we have so much to be thankful for, no matter who's president. And
Right.
so I mean,
That's
I think
good.
that's the whole point of this is that the original pilgrims, they endured so much, and sometime we don't have time to get into it tonight, but we should talk about the sacrifices these people made to give us the country we have today,
Yeah.
because it was so deep. I mean, when they said they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to the signers of the Declaration of Independence, and if you look at those 56 signers, a lot of them really meant those words, and
Well, it was a
lived.
it was a death sentence, because if they were caught, they were going to get
Yeah,
killed.
they were signing their
I mean,
death warrant.
Yeah, they were
and,
saying like, "Here, my name's on this list." So now,
and many
yeah.
of them did lose their lives, fortunes, and sacred honors for this all to happen. There's not a lot of them do not have happy endings, and I think we should probably set aside some time just to.
Well, that's what I
go
kind of
into
want to
all
do
that.
with this show, is that I want to be able to, have an honest discussion. I sound like the Young Turks. I have an honest discussion, but have an honest discussion on these things. I think that what my generation is missing is a sense of national pride in a good way. I feel like that's been hijacked by Trump and all of that. But we'll take him out of it. There's a sense of actual, like, you should have some type of honor that you're from America. You don't have to be ashamed of that. There's something. Now, yeah,
Well,
here's a
American
black man saying that, knowing that we had slaves. But then but then I don't want to forget about black men who actually volunteered in the Civil War. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things to celebrate within who we are. And I just feel like there's a lot of like, oh, everybody else is better than us, but nobody wants to go there though.
Right.
Ain't nobody want to go there, but everybody else is better than us.
Well, American exceptionalism, and that's the thing that Obama didn't want to acknowledge, but there's no doubt that America is an exceptional nation, and it's not that we should be prideful about it. We were blessed with this exceptionalism, and we should celebrate that and be
well,
thankful
it's kind
for
of
that.
like what's his name? I don't know if it was the French. You could probably know this better than I. But the French guy who came here, he studied like why America was great.
Yeah,
and
de Tocqueville, I believe his name was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he and you could please fill in because I'm like third
Well,
hand.
his conclusion was America is great because America is good. I mean, he came here in about.
But
the
then he also
1830s.
goes deeper. I heard he goes, but America's good because of her churches.
Right.
So
Yeah,
here is this man. He goes around the whole America, or he does a tour or whatever. He's trying to figure out, why is America booming? Why is this nation just such a glorious? It's such a city on a hill or whatever. He says, wow, because it's good at its heart. It wants to do right. At its heart, it's about the individuals. At the heart, and why is it good? Because of its churches.
Yep.
And I think it does totally speaks of what's going on with today. It's because if our churches aren't good, come on now. If our churches aren't good, then it plays into the rest of society.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, I know you got to get going in a minute. I wanted to play a little thing about Ann Coulter. I only got 10 more seconds with you, really.
We can go about 2 more minutes. I can do the Ann Coulter. This is in the fatherhood segment.
All right, we'll
but
do a
we can
little
it
fatherhood segment because I think this next hour is just gonna be me and Clifton just having a good old time. So we don't need. But let's play that Ann Coulter clip real quick. So Ann Coulter, you guys, is a lady that I don't like very much, and you probably heard, and she really irritates me. So I cannot believe I'm playing her clip on my show. But she made a point, and I saw this video, and I thought it was just good for discussion. I don't necessarily agree with every word, but here, check this out.
Okay.
Where is it?
It's not playing.
It's okay.
Child, it is overwhelming. She should give the child up for adoption because the statistics, both from the left and the right, are overwhelming on what happens to illegitimate children. About 70% of juvenile delinquents, teenage runaways, pregnancies out of wedlock are committed by the children of single mothers. If you were in the womb right now and you could choose whether to be black, white, rich, poor, the one thing you should hope for as a child in the womb is my parents are married. The statistics still are, if you look at it from the end of the spectrum of who ends up in jail, who ends up a murderer, who ends up a teenage runaway, who ends up getting pregnant out of wedlock herself, who ends up a rapist, about 70%, according to both the Village Voice and all these conservative pro-family groups, are going to be the children of single mothers. I mean, that is simply a fact. Now, imagine in America with 70% fewer teenage runaways, fewer teenage murders, fewer teenage drug addicts, fewer teenage pregnancies. That's what single mothers have created. And like I say, if you want what's best for your child, if you are pregnant out of wedlock, either marry the father, and by the way, shotgun marriages used to work just fine, but we've gotten rid of the stigma of a woman having a child out of wedlock.
But the problem is, it's good to get rid of those stigmas because we would put people always in a box. You know, this is the way you have to be. This is the way it works out.
And
you know, this is not an ideal world, and you're talking about an ideal world. Oh, in an ideal world, by the way, everyone has a mom and dad. We're going back, you know, to the days of happy days. You know, most of our young people don't know what that is.
When the kids turned out a lot better.
Well,
and they were given every advantage in life. Stigmas are good things. Look, we have a stigma against smokers.
Who are the single mothers of today?
Smoking is bad for you. But smoking is not as bad for you as being raised by a single mother. And yet, we do have stigmas, and they're good things. Stigmas against smoking, and yet smoking is not as bad for you as single motherhood. And there ought to be
How do you come to that conclusion?
I've just cited the statistics over and over again.
One kills you. We know that smoking kills you.
One destroys a life. Look, the point is not what has happened to children who have been raised by single mothers already. Wish you the best. The point is to influence choices going forward.
Because everyone here is outraged in this audience. I mean, you are citing statistics. I know that they're credible, but what we're hearing here is you've kind of focused this approach. You know, anti-single mothers. Do you really believe all of that stuff?
Who's the Christian here, Father? I care about the children. I care about how they are raised.
We gotta care about all of them.
And for you to be encouraging women to have children out of wedlock and discouraging them from being sent to nice adoptive homes, I find shocking.
All right. Well, I'm going to do just a few minutes on my thoughts on that, and then we're going to move forward. I thought it was interesting. Actually, Paul, can you stay just for the commentary of this real quick? I thought that was interesting because do I agree? Okay. I think a lot of times our culture needs people to be like extreme to get a message across. So her messaging of like single moms need to give up their kids for adoption when they're babies. I struggle with that, right? Because Clifton, when you were single, your mom was single, right? But you loved your mom. You got raised by your mom. So there's something special about that. But the point of saying though,
I was also raised by a single mom.
Okay, so yeah, there, you guys got something from your mom, But the point, I guess she's making that, hey, you could have, in a sense of just titles, you could have got a mom and a dad, and how much better would that have been for a young man to have? And I can understand that logic. So it's very like, man, that's so, I don't know. What was your thoughts of just hearing that?
Well, I'm surprised, like you, that Ann Coulter had so much wisdom pouring out of her mouth.
Yeah, no.
Because,
God,
but I agree with that 100%. And like I say, I was raised. Now, I did have a father, but my parents were divorced when I was very young, and then he died when I was eighth grade. So, for most of my life, I was raised by a single mom. But I really missed a lot not having my dad around. And,
right.
And even to this day, there are gaps in my life that could have been filled by having a father, that I've had to overcome. And I don't say that as a victim. I
No,
You know,
absolutely. No,
I
there's tons of that.
you know, I happily deal with adversity, and I know God gives it all to all of us in some degree or another. But obviously, she's right that you know, two parents is.
She's
is
right
hard.
on. She's right on the point.
But
Is
I'm
that
not. I wouldn't go so far as to say a single mom should give their children up for adoption. I would not.
I struggle.
I would not go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far too, but I will go
In
that
some
far
cases,
if
maybe.
she's not. If in some cases, I believe you really should. If you're a young single mother or you're somebody who's not stable, really super stable, I think that may not be a bad idea. Though I know lots of women who are probably not super stable and are doing great jobs, and they would view themselves as doing great jobs. There's something about a father around the house. I know you got to go, Paul. So go ahead. You can wrap up. There's some, and the point of me bringing this up now was not just this debate, but like there's something powerful about having a father around, hearing his voice, his hugs, even just simple things I do with my sons, and just the way we wrestle or play or whatever it is. Literally, literally, like changes who you are when you have interactions with males as a young boy or a young girl. You know what I mean? Right interactions. And if you could have both of those, if you and she goes as far as later on in the interview calling women selfish. I mean, I watched the actual interview saying you're being selfish by keeping your kids and not giving them to me. I'm like, dang, and ouch. I mean, these women's kids. But the point is, if you wanted your kid to have like a really like the full experience of a father and mother hug, you know, all of that, let them have it. So I guess I don't want to debate that really, but I guess my main debate is just saying how important are fathers? Like how important are having two parent homes? And those statistics are true. You can't argue with those. And you can see what the left does. A lot of people just in emotions, like emotionally, that the whole room was charged and people were crying because my mom, and they stacked that whole room up with single moms. Like they did that on purpose. Like they stacked that whole room up with successful single moms so they could be like, my mom was successful, my dad. It's like, okay, but let's be real. We go to the hood and walk around the streets. It ain't gonna be like that. Or not even just the hood, but the regular. Yeah, get him set up pretty well. And so, yeah, so I you know, again fathers and you know, if you want to be out of poverty, not even fathers, women, if young people, if you want to be out of poverty, if you want to have a successful life, wait till you're married before you have children. You're going to be way better ahead if you do that. You're going to be well better, you know, taken care of in one sense. Statistics have shown that it's just wisdom to do that. Clifton, you know your friends can just click on the YouTube video and watch it live, and they can actually hear this.
Yeah, so anybody who wants to be redirected, you could definitely go to Christopher Rush's Facebook page.
Yeah, I guess he's talking to his friends.
Do that.
So Clifton Williams is joining us real quick. He's been Facebook Live. Let me see your Facebook Live video real quick. Let's see what's going on. What's up, Facebook Live? How y'all doing? It's your boy Chris. So he's been Facebook Live in this video. Even though his friends could go on his page. Did you share that video? Yeah. Click on the YouTube and then you can watch it kind of more professionally. Because I'm going to take Clifton off this so he can focus on just talking, if that's okay. What's up, world? How you guys doing? All right. Well, Paul, you're on Facebook Live. Yep. All right, Paul. We'll see you later. And actually, we're gonna go here. Go ahead and just jump off of that real quick. We're gonna take a quick break, and let me cue my break up pretty good, real quick. Can you take 3 and 4, pull it down a little bit? Not that a little bit. It's a little bit. Little down. Down. Sorry. No one's hearing that because I have to plug up the cord. Sorry. All right, we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we'll be right back. And with Clifton Williams, we're gonna go deep in some really cool stuff. So don't go anywhere. No, it didn't work when I did it that way. He's right. It's gonna be a challenge. I guess we're gonna be done doing intros, outros, unless I do it from my phone.
Play it aloud.
I can do it from my phone too. That's the other thing I could do.
I love your intro, outro.
With worship.
Man, great are you, Lord.
All right, you guys, thanks for continuing to watch. You're seeing live production going on right now.
Super live.
Super live production. Because I don't think there's a way for me to pause this YouTube live. So we're just trying to work things out real quick.
Remember, anybody on Facebook,
You're still...
please, you can visit the YouTube site.
You should put the link on the YouTube site. You could... Well, I think you had to almost end your live. Yeah, in your live. Maybe
I done it.
You okay?
I shared. Yeah.
Okay, it's all right. You're funny to me. I think I need to blow my nose and we can get right started. Well, I'm gonna have to just suck it up because I don't want to leave this real quick.
I love the studio.
You like the studio?
Absolutely
matter
phenomenal.
Of fact, actually, let's. We really do need to take a break because I'm going to. We need to set you up better because I want you on camera. So.
One more over here.
Yep, you're gonna have to hit this corner. So just take the headphones off.
Move the chair.
Yeah. Be right there. Move that back there, I guess. This swings around. Oh, that's kind of a cool little angle. Maybe I should put the camera there.
Need my nummies. Hold on. All y'all out there in Cali, love San Francisco, baby. Love Dallas coming up December 3rd.
Let's see, how's the lighting? Oh, we're right here. So I know you're gonna be looking there, but if you could look up there, that'd be even better. We could put you.
Gotta get Chris in here.
Gotta help you out a little bit. No, that's not gonna work.
Just leave it where it is. Don't worry, man.
We're good.
We'll
All right, we're focused up there. Okay. Let's get your headphones on. Well, thank you guys for watching YouTube. As we YouTube live this, because I kind of want us to talk and be comfortable talking. As we talk, I'm gonna be leaning
Mic
back
check.
Like this.
Mic check.
Okay.
Mic check.
Your mic should be on.
Does this come this way? Yeah. Beautiful.
That controls your volume. All right. Are we comfortable talking like this?
Oh yeah. Did you need a break?
I do kind of need a break, but you know what? I don't want to do that to people who are watching. So, all right. I think we're gonna be good. Here we go.
Put on some worship music.
We're gonna do that, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna get us set up. Your people won't see me. But
you give life. You give hope. You bring light to the darkness.
What's wrong with you? Just play.
Oh, you got the chessboard in here. What?
Oh, you know how we do things.
What?
You know what? I should have. Again, thank you guys for watching on YouTube Live. We're just taking a quick little break as we get things set up. All right. Welcome back to All Hands on Deck Media. You're listening to Sons and Daughters. Great are you, Lord. That's right. One more time. All right, all right. Woo! So we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have more of that pretty soon. All Hands on Deck Media. Now in the building, we're going to have lots of fun. Now in the building, we got my boy, my good friend, Clifton Williams. So just so you guys know, so Clifton Williams, I think we're gonna give a little. I'm gonna let him tell the story a little. Actually, I'll tell my part, and I'll let you jump in part a little bit before Caribou, right? So I'm gonna tell you kind of a cool story about me and Clifton real quick, and this is gonna bother me.
You gotta get in there.
I gotta be in there.
You gotta get in
somehow. So I don't even know how many years ago now. We really need to count
7
those years. 7? Hasn't it been
about
7? I cannot
6,
believe it's
6,
been 7 years.
6 years. 7
Okay, so about 6-7 years ago, I was doing a prayer, fasting and praying, and in North Minneapolis, and the Lord led me out to go do a prayer walk, and I was doing a prayer walk, and I was on Broadway, and there was this at the time. Well, now it's a Family Dollar and a audio. Is it AutoZone? It's AutoZone now, but at the time it wasn't. And I walked past this building, and I had a vision, and I saw North Star House of Prayer. And when I saw North Star House of Prayer, I knew that, like God was saying, like He wanted a 24-hour house of prayer there, and that it was going to be, when
like
God's
an epiphany, like you're walking and boom, open air vision,
boom.
Open
air vision, it's not that
drastic.
Not drastic, like wow, like that, like,
Okay.
but it literally, it's just like I just saw the building, I saw North Star House of Prayer, and when God gives you that, He gives you like a download, like a chip, like, and I knew right away that He was saying like, I want this 24-hour house of prayer. It's gonna be in North Minneapolis. It's gonna have hip hop worship music. It's gonna have Hmong worship music. It's gonna have all types of worship music, and God was telling me that this is what He wanted for North Minneapolis.
Praising God,
worshiping God 24 hours. And right now there's, maybe you don't know, but there's a place called the
Twin Cities House of Justice.
Twin Cities House of Justice, but there's also the International House of Prayer that's in Kansas City that has a 24-hour prayer and worship. You can check their stuff out at ihopkc.org and see what it looks like. So at that time, I got up and I went and I kind of like shopped this around. I went to like almost every pastor in North Minneapolis. I shared this vision with them, and I told them like, God was saying North Star House of Prayer and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I started a prayer meeting that was like North Star House of Prayer meeting, and we started doing a prayer meeting weekly. And then I'm gonna let you take over of how you were told to meet me. Tell them about the story, how you met me.
I wasn't
and then
part
we
of
could.
I wasn't part of these prayer meetings.
He wasn't part of the prayer meetings. We knew each other at
we
church.
We actually went to the same church,
which
but
is
never
crazy.
ever like did any ministry,
anything together.
Any works.
Yeah.
Like he sat on that side of the auditorium.
Literally,
and I sat on this side.
Other side.
Like no joke.
Trees, man. Just
right. So, but and I didn't know absolutely anything that he was doing in the community except for one time I saw you at Juneteenth. Baba Cheney, one of my mentors, started Juneteenth, the celebration of the slaves for North Minneapolis, the freedom of the slaves. But because we don't know the exact day that the freedom of the slaves took place, so the celebration is Juneteenth. So anyway, Chris was out there baptizing folks in the name of the Lord. And it was amazing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Therefore, Go Ministries, I like it. But I never did anything with follow-up. But I had some really critical moments in my life where Cheryl Anderson, a pastoral assistant, administrator of Sanctuary Covenant Church.
I want you got to kiss the mic. So even
yeah.
You could bring the mic closer to you. It's just
mic check. Technical. So Cheryl Anderson was the administrator of Sanctuary Covenant Church, and she felt that Jesus wanted me to go to the office with her and pray. And at that time, Cheryl had the honor to cast all the demons out of me, and it was pretty ferocious. When the Lion of Judah shows up, everything starts fleeing. And so anyway, I had a very special encounter with the Holy Spirit of God, and I'm not going to get into that, but what I was told was he brought me to Broadway in Lindale. He told me to...
well, I mean, this is our show. This is for people who don't know much. I don't want to say we start very basic. What I wanted to
Very
do.
basic.
So so when you say casting out demons, so what does that mean? I mean, you walked in. What does that mean to? So you guys started praying, and she just started praying.
Actually, I had witnessed some. I witnessed some child abuse at my father's, my biological dad's, wife's house. And I went there to visit him and tell him about the great things I'm doing in the Lord, that I was completely done with the streets. I've been going to Dunwoody Institute for home weatherization. Sanctuary Covenant had housed me with a local member. I was done with sexual. I guess I was seeking sexual purity, and I was being set aside by the Lord. I mean, a lot of fasting was going on, and so I went to go visit my dad. And when I went there to visit my dad at the house in North Minneapolis, about 3 blocks north of MGM Liquor on Broadway and Lindale, and when I went there, I was bringing the word of God to my father at the same time. And when I was there, I witnessed crack cocaine smoke. I witnessed, a lot of different bad elements going on in the home. And then most of all, one of the children started getting beaten because she couldn't find her backpack, a little 3-year-old. And it tore me to pieces. It reminded me of my childhood and what my dad brought me through, and my brothers and my sister. And so I cried out against it. My family was getting ready to attack me. They locked the door, and I yelled out to my dad, anytime you're ever going to help me, now is the time. My dad shoved everyone to the side, opened the door, shoved me out, and outside was standing Cheryl Anderson. I had forgot I had called her and asked her for a ride, and she was outside. She must
watching all of this.
She must have heard the commotion in the house, so she was just out there with her hands towards the door, just praying, dude. And I got out and I ran to her, and I'm just broken, and she's like, Clifton, I really feel like Jesus is saying that we need to go back to the office and pray about this, and yeah, no problem. So we did. We went back to the home office, and nobody was there. And while we were there, about 15 minutes into praying, literally my physical shell fell on the floor. And standing in front of me, then in my spirit man, this is like where I started to find a lot out about our physical shell is like a mode of transportation for spiritualism. Like you can be possessed by the Holy Spirit, but you can also be possessed by unholy spirits. And the majority of our society is actually possessed by unholy spirits. Even lots of people in church is what I've been finding. But anyway, so I had the honor of Cheryl Anderson casting all these demons out of me, but Jesus had grace on my body, and he removed me during that time. But one of the things that the Lord did was he brought me to, literally, he stood behind me, and he brought me to the corner of Broadway and Lindale.
So when you say that, so here you are, you're spiritually outside of your body, right?
Right, correct,
You're in heaven. Are you in heaven?
I'm in another realm, I guess
in another
say.
realm.
I'm in a multiverse. I don't know, dude.
Okay. So you're there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I seen my body on the floor.
And then he brings you to Broadway and Lindale or something.
Well, first it started with, he was crying. He was really broken over the life I've had to live. He brought me to a few places, and he healed me. Some really emotional, internal stuff that needed to be dealt with first. And he healed me, and it was amazing to be healed by Jesus. People get healed by Jesus all the time, but to actually be in the room with him while this healing is taking place, seeing it happen was just phenomenal. And I fell head over heels with him. Head over heels. And, well, anyway, he told me, he was like, I have many things to show you and tell you. We went to many different buildings. Where? I don't know. But we went to buildings all over the place, and these buildings were empty, and he was crying and saying, my beloved Malak, why is this place empty? And I would stand there with like no answer, just like I had no utterance, like I don't know, my Lord, I don't know. And I'm so confused just alone, like where's my body? Like I'm still confused. And there's so much more beyond us, that's going on in the spirit realm. But anyway, so but then he took me to Broadway and Lindale. He was behind me, and he was holding me from behind me.
and we went to Broadway in Lindale. Meanwhile, my body's at Sanctuary Covenant Home building on
Right.
37th in Emerson, but
Right.
spiritually, I'm gone.
Right.
Okay, I'm on Broadway in Lindale, and the Lord pointed east towards like 94 on Broadway, in front of MGM Liquors where we were standing on the corner, and he said, "Young Malak, will you come here and contest the spiritual wall that has been set up against me in this city?" And you can literally see like this manifestation of a nasty worm crawling brick mortared wall
Hmm.
in front of me in the city, and I'm like, what? But you can see cars going, you can see people. It's everything's in motion.
That's funny. So you see it kind of in the
I
spirit,
see a wall.
but you see cars going through
Yes,
it.
I see, but there's a spiritual wall.
This
Like,
is kind of cool, guys. I either you told me this, I forgot about this. This
no,
is
I've
good
gone into detail with you stuff, but
Right.
we've fallen asleep while I've been talking before. So, so anyway, we've spent hours together talking about things in the spirit. But anyway, so I'm standing here and I'm just like freaking out, like, whoa, what do you mean stand here? I've prayer marched with McAfee's church to this corner, and I stood in the front line with my son and my nephew and my brother and my dad of New Salem Church, and we circled this corner, and we made a stance against the mayor and the police chief and the fire chief, and we praised God until McAfee called us to break line, like not even like 5 months prior to this. You know what I mean? Maybe like a year prior to this. And so to be here in the spirit was just so phenomenal. Like, wow, I can comprehend this in the spirit, you know? And so that I was called out to do this. And this is a purpose that he's given me, you know, for my federal court cases being dropped. So this is a whole nother testimony. So anyway, I'm standing there and he's behind me. He says, you know, will you contest the spiritual wall that has been built up against me in the city, and if you will, declare Malachi 3 at this eastern gate, and declare to the city to deroot the sin from their life, or I will come and do it.
Wow.
And it was just like, yes, my Lord, of course I'll do this. Of course I'll do this. Mm-hmm. Well, then, so he took me on high. We went way up in the sky, like, I don't know, a couple 1,000 feet, and we're staring at the city from above, and he was telling me how Minneapolis is a city of his righteousness, where his righteousness will dwell. It shall dwell here. Like, it's coming to pass, no matter what.
Right.
And if you stand against this wall, it's going to just hurry this process. You know, will you partner with me in this? Yes, I will. So he takes me up on high, and he says, you know, about the righteousness of the city. He said, the youth of this city, the way they represent themselves, I am a jealous God, and I want this for myself. Young Malak, will you bring hope to the youth of this city? And so that the way they represent themselves, they'll represent me. I'm like, sure enough. You know how I go in hard in the paint for you, Lord. You know what I mean? Like I would love to have some roadies going hard in the paint from Northside. So anyway, I take up this mantle, and then he brings me back down, and he tells me that if I do this, then he points in a directional manner, like kitty corner, and he says, like, towards this strip mall that Christopher had this amazing encounter in the spirit, where it's like a glimpse of hope in the city, a glimpse of 24/7 burning fire, worship, and prayer and intercession for the Lord in the heart of Minneapolis. And so the Lord is pointing at this same strip mall on Broadway and Lindale, the southeast corner section of Broadway and Lindale, and he says, here I will plant a house of prayer, my house of prayer, and it shall be called, he said, the city shall become a beacon of light unto the nation and the nation's nations, and this house, and then it will be as the North Star was unto your ancestors. And
it's crazy to hear you say this, because Clifton has been given like a literal, like a blessing of like a memory blessing from God. And I swear to God, the way you're telling me this is exactly the way you told me 7 years ago. Because you did not just, because if you would have asked me, I would have said God told him, I'm going to plant North Star House of Prayer. I would have just said that. But like literally the way you just said that reminded me that is the wording you used 7 years ago. I mean, you didn't forget this at all, but I just
it's branded.
Dude.
I'm branded. I'm branded sheep. I may have a nice fur on my back now, but when you shave me down, you're gonna see I'm branded with North Star. You know, you're branded.
Yeah.
So you're branded for the abolition of abortion, as I am with sexual purity. You know, and it's attacking our lives, even today. So, but Jesus gave me the authority to stand against this, and it was frightening, to say the least. To know that this is not here, but it's gonna be here, and it's gonna take this to do this, but it's gonna be here.
Again, just to go back to the quote, he says, "So it will be a beacon of life, and it will be as a
beacon
North
of
Star.
light, as the North Star was unto your ancestors." Wow. See, that's so important to me because when I was a young student, you know, when I was 14 years old, we were battling a lot of racial indifferences. I didn't have Jesus, you know, in the sense that I do now, and I wasn't in church. And how I fought racism was with these, and I was good with these. Like I always said, if I didn't make it rapping, I'd make it scrapping. You know what I mean? Because I was a fighter. And beating up racists was like my MO. But then they sent a teacher in by the name of Mr. Murray to deal with this because it wasn't just me. There's many others. Clinton Rooney. There was Michael Lehan, Michael Walker. I mean, all these African Americans, forerunners in the Western public school system being attacked racially. You know, it was just inequality. But anyway, Mr. Murray came and he took us to many different places, a group of young African-American students, some young Caucasian and Latino students, and it was called a group called Colors. And it was about tearing down the imbalance of racial barriers in elementary and junior high and high school in Hopkins. So anyway, one of the things that he took us to that our parents signed a consent form not knowing what we were actually getting into was we went to an Uncle Tom farm. An actual historical farm where it was used in the Underground Railroad. And parts of the farm that were used to hide slaves were still there. And we literally had a tour guide by the name of Harriet Tubman. And it was a reenactment of us being a group that we were stolen from the North and we were brought to the South illegally, but we were captured and caught by Harriet Tubman and the group before we got to the South, and we had to run for our lives for 5 hours, bro. Okay, and at the end of this whole 5 hours, I mean, there's people who got caught by the dogs and shackled up, and it was a real experience. Yeah, these people really got hurt.
I've heard of this interaction before. I was part of a group that
people got hurt. Okay, people got bit by dogs and handcuffs marks. And it was real. It like our parents signed a consent form. So it got real out there. Yeah. So anyway,
consent forms get real when they really mean something when you're doing that to someone's kid.
But then at the end of this, the ones who made it to the end goal, Harriet Tubman got caught. She promised that she would get released, and she might have to kill a few of these crackers, is what she said. But she was talking in the sense of the guys on the horseback with the whip, the crackers, you know, is what she was explaining to us. And that she might get caught, but she might have to kill a few to get away. But we were just to keep running, and that we were to run. And what we saw was the North Star. And we literally ran to the North Star to get away, to get redemption from slavery. And like we were still able to get caught and thrown in jail at this point. So no one wants to get. It's almost like tag on steroids, okay? And so we literally run with all our might, and I'm like one of the first 3 who gets there, and it was over. When we got to the North Star, it was over. It was and it was a lantern, really, is what it was. It was a light set up on a hill.
Wow.
But anyway, so Jesus really used that as a parable in my life. So when he told me, it will be as the North Star unto your ancestors, that it will be a beacon of light unto the nation and the nation's nations, and that you shall call it the North Star House of Prayer, and you shall take the church from hip-hop to IHOP. And the Lord told me to write this letter, and I, like Chris said, I was given this amazing ability to remember this, and I went and wrote the letter that the Lord told me to write to a place called IHOP. I didn't know what IHOP was.
Yeah, we're not gonna go into that.
But
that
long
state,
story
but yeah.
short, as actually it is part of this because I was on the search of IHOP and the answers that were to come from there.
Right.
My mom set me on track to find what was called the Twin Cities House of Prayer.
Right.
And when I found the Twin Cities House of Prayer in that time frame,
Right.
while worshiping there was an older elderly man who was considered schizophrenia because he believed in the Bible so much that it was real. So he was given schizophrenia because of this. He wouldn't take pills, but they locked him in a nursing home on Lindale. But I guess at some point in time, you guys had an encounter. But so he was at the Twin Cities House of Prayer, and one night he came to me and he said, "You have a mission from God, and you're supposed to go on Broadway in Lindale, and you've been waiting on a time." And I was like, "How you know that? I don't know you. How do you know it?" He said, "Well, the Lord shared with me." He's like, "I've been nervous about approaching you." And my wife, Lisa, was sitting there with me at the time. We weren't married, but she was sitting there coherent of this happening, you know. Jenna Halverson was there. We're all just like spooked out by this guy, you know. It was real. It was real prophecy. And so he was like, "Come by the nursing home at this address the next day, and not only am I going to give you the times that you are to go out there, that the Lord wants you to be on Broadway in Lindale to declare this word over the city, but I have the person that the Lord has for you to go into this with." And I was like, wow, this is insane. So the next day I cancel everything and I go to this nursing home, and me and him pray and we chatted up. We actually brought the gospel to a few people at the nursing home and they got saved by Jesus Christ. And after that happened, we were on fire. You know, Mas Fuego is going down in the building. And he goes, "I bet you've been waiting for the time and you've been waiting for who you're supposed to go with." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, there's a few people who have told you to meet with this brother as well, and it's been hard for you to get together with it." Because I left you a message at this point because someone else had told me to get in contact with you when I said North Star House of Prayer. At the Twin Cities House of Prayer, I think it might have been Annette. I don't know, in the early stages of Annette. But I don't know. But anyway, when the man came back from his room in the nursing home, sitting there by myself, and he took the card and he just slapped it on the table and it said, "Therefore Go Ministries, Christopher Rush." And I was like, "No way." And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "This is the dude that a couple other people told me to go to." And he's like, "This is who Jesus wants you to pursue the North Star House of Prayer with. You are laboring with this man for this. And he's going to stand against the injustice and the sins of this city with you. And you're to be out there 7 p.m. on he said 12 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Yeah, I remember that. We had the early ship. It was an earlier ship, and then there was a later one.
So I contact you. I told you the urgency, and you're like, "Okay, fine." And it was me, you.
I don't know if I was...
You kind of played it off, you know, like.
Hopefully not.
You know, I think the fire was dying. Maybe even, like, I don't know, like, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've been relentless at this, and nobody's listening to me," you know, and then here I come. And we sit down at Caribou, and I'm like, and I tell you my life story, and you're like, "Wow, this is like radical," you know, murder.
So I hope you guys hear what just happened. I mean, you telling me the life story. Then go ahead. So here, just to remind you guys. So the Lord shows me that vision. I create this whole, email prayer meeting, North Star House of Prayer. God's just, and here's Clifton has never had a conversation with me. Ever.
Never been in ministry.
Yeah, and we're sitting down, and he tells me this dream and vision, and he tells me about the North Star, and just
So I go through my life story, and at this point, Chris is like, "This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. I'm having a hard time believing this." And then my son is sitting there confirming, like, "Yeah, this is all real. This is my dad, and this all really happened to him. I've been here the whole time. You know, this is my son, DeMonte. I love you. Oh, I love you, money." So we get to the part, and Chris is like, well, what happened recently? And I told Chris about, what I just told you, what happened with Cheryl Anderson. And he knows Cheryl, and Cheryl knows Chris. And so this is like authentic, and I tell him the part about, and I said, and the Lord told me that at this strip mall, there's to be the North Star House of Prayer. And Chris stops. And Chris is like, what'd you say? I was like, and at this, he said, I understand that, but you say at this, what strip mall? Where? I was like, Broadway and Lindale, southeast corner. And Jesus pointed right at it. And he's like, oh my God. And Chris just stands up. He tries to contain it. You can see that he's trying, but it's shot up in his bones. And he can't hold it. And Chris literally burst. I'll be right back. And he runs out the door, and my son looks at me, and he's like, what just happened? And I was like, because my son was watching a movie on the laptop with headphones on, and he was like, is everything okay? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, his stuff is here, but he just got up and ran. And I was like, maybe it's something I said, and it was exactly what I said. Yeah. See, Chris, he needed this. He needed this.
Well, I mean,
fire to come.
So and I went out to the parking lot and just started worshiping God.
No, so you ran down the row of the buildings.
Wow, your memory is crazy.
And then all of a sudden,
I cannot believe you remember that.
Some guy comes out of a door.
I know.
So because Chris is running to the other side.
ran.
So this is Caribou on France and 100. This is Caribou headquarters for the nation of Caribou. This is the headquarters, and Chris runs.
I don't know if
all the way. No, this is the corporate headquarters.
I know it's a corporate headquarters.
No,
nation.
For all the Caribous.
Right. My wife worked there for a season.
Right, my brother worked there, so they're the warehouse, the whole nine. But you run down there, and you're gonna go scream and praise God, but some guy comes out of the door, and what does he say to you?
I forgot.
The door opens up, and the guy stands before Chris, and he stops Chris, and the guy looks at Chris dead in his eyes and goes, "Satan lives."
Dude, I cannot.
And you were like, oh, and I didn't witness this.
Remember that?
But then Chris literally runs over to the on-ramp to Highway 100 in France, and he's screaming and praising Jesus for 20 minutes. And like, I'm looking at my clock like, where is this dude? And Chris comes back in 20 minutes later, and he's like, this is what he does. Watch, everybody. He's like, okay. I'll be right back. And he gets up and he runs out of the building again. And I'm like, what is going on? And he screams and he comes back in. He's like, Cliff, I don't even know where to begin. But when I just went outside, I went to go scream and praise God. And some dude literally came out of the side building of Caribou and tells me Satan lives.
I totally forgot about that. This is why I know you've been blessed with
spiritual warfare.
Because I don't even remember. I totally have forgot about that. I actually, right when you said I ran, I do remember I ran to the right because I ran that way.
If you go out the main door to that Caribou corporate, you go right.
Yeah.
It's a long sidewalk.
If I would have told the story, I went outside and went into the parking lot and worshiped. No, you remember that. I ran to the right, and I remember that guy walked up to me saying Satan lives out of nowhere. And I'm like,
out of nowhere.
This is insanity.
This dude just comes out of the building, looks at you.
Well, because I was praising God. I was out in the parking lot praising God. I was probably saying Jesus. I was probably screaming it, so it kind of let the demons know. And then that guy came out of nowhere, and he said, "Okay, let's move forward." But
so Chris got confirmation. He's like, "Okay, this is only God." But then it went even more bonkers. You almost got up and ran again, but you contained it. But you were like, so what else did the Lord tell you? I said that I'm supposed to take the church from hip hop to IHOP.
Yeah, that's another.
And that's where you freaked out.
Oh, and then especially that therefore go. You're supposed to go therefore go. What was the word that you got? Jesus said it says, and we're supposed to therefore go to the nations.
No, that it was just that we're going to be a beacon of light unto the nations. And you said that I needed to join therefore go. That
therefore go wasn't existing at the time.
No, it was.
It was?
Yeah, okay. You were like, you need to be the director of outreach.
Oh. I thought there was something about therefore going to the nation. We're going to therefore.
So, but long story short, this was like a God ordained moment in time. Like Jesus knew about this before time existed, that Chris was going to get up and run like a maniac and scream his head off like a chicken with his head cut off. Everywhere, gobble, 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 Jesus is real. And then, anyway, I told Chris that I already had got the time and all that we were supposed to go begin this. And me and my son had already begun going out. But when we had got a time, I waited for Chris.
Okay, yep. So, because we're going to take a break, and then we're going to have to wrap this up because we probably only got about 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes, even that's a lot of time, radio time.
We got to get more into what the current is.
But the current is, So yeah, me and you started doing. So we and Clifton started doing outreach every week on Lindo and Broward, which was totally everything he had. I didn't get that, but everything like I remember when we were doing that, everything he said was real. Like I remember feeling there was a wall there. I remember preaching outside and feeling like God was banging against this wall. And I felt like even the last week that we were there, we did a prayer walk around the building. And I think it might have been 7 weeks leading up to that. We did kind of like a Jericho prayer walk around it. And when we did that, we worshiped and prayed. And I remember feeling like
I mean,
we
where
really,
there's more where the Lord said, "I'm going to send you an army," and then out of
Yeah.
nowhere, Messenger Boot Camp comes into our life, and we become these amazing messengers in Messenger Boot Camp with Trinity Works. And we got complete access to the Teen Challenge graduates to come out and do ministry with us, where we were anywhere between 10 to 80 deep on that corner some Tuesdays.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. So there was an army. So not
There was
only
an army.
we were, because we and him were either street preaching, and we had people go out witnessing around us, and then we had like people playing the drums.
Early stages fire base.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Well, real quick, here we're going to go ahead and roll to a break real quick, and then we'll come back and then we'll try to wrap it up with a couple of segments, talking about North Star House of Prayer, kind of the new phases of what we're doing, because this was 7 years ago, and I remember what the Lord told me. Like he eventually told me, Chris, set this aside. Like you did your part, and kind of like with Nehemiah, God told Nehemiah to build the wall, and then he actually told Nehemiah to stop. Like I don't even think Nehemiah saw the whole completion of the wall. I think he built like the foundations of it, and then I mean, it wasn't until later on to somebody else kind of took up the cause, and so I didn't. So it is kind of crazy that now today we're sitting here and we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about like what God is saying nowadays, as we come back from our break. So all hands on deck, media. Thanks for listening, you guys. You want to check your live thing? Is your battery even on yet? Died.
I think I had a pretty good viewing audience too.
Did you? Yeah. Well,
I kept messaging all hands on deck, radio, get on this page. You know what I mean?
You what?
Kept messaging on the messaging part of the live, directing traffic.
Thanks, guys, for watching. I know you're watching our little our break, and actually, I'm actually have to take a real break. I'm about to get up and use the bathroom because there's no way I can just. I gotta also get some tissue. But I appreciate you guys watching. I want to see if this is working. This is really humbling right now because I mean, normally when we do Facebook Live, we got a bunch of people watching, and even, is this streaming live? Okay.
You're Facebook Live and on what?
On YouTube at this current moment. Yeah, there we are. One person watching, and that person might just be me. Did you just do that?
No, it's a delay.
I know, but never mind. Put your finger up. So you're on camera. Is that your chocolate you got chocolate on? Uh-huh.
used to roast dolos from state to state, but now I push the gospel like it was some mass old weight, like I'm taking it, weighing it on the fish scales. I'm a fisher, man. I don't fish around for bales. I hails no man but my Lord Jesus Christ, and I saves his sons from a hellish type of life. And I used to be rugged and wild out and bugging, but now my Jesus filled me up so I could go on loving. And I gets it right. No longer take my hat and cocks it to the left or right. I don't do no set claiming. I only set claim Christ, and it's the cross movement, crisscross your lives, cross culture, cultivating and cross pollinating and doing everything, never procrastinating, standing against abolishing abortion and all that. We gotta tip our hat to those who are swinging up at bat.
Thank you guys for holding on. We are taking a break. We were taking a break. You have any questions or concern, make some comments. Face on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll jump on and talk about those questions or comments. Really thankful that you guys are joining us.
It's not too often I'm gonna be able to come on the show, so I am so.
We're not recording now. You know that.
Oh, okay, my bad.
If you want to say want to be recorded, hold that
Okay.
thought. Let me pull up something real quick. They're seeing us, but I'm talking about recorded.
Hi. Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah, they are watching you today. Yeah, just do it this way.
Battery critically low.
Critical.
Trying to learn Spanish?
I am. Taking me forever though. All right, we're going to be getting All Hands on Deck Radio in 1 second, you guys. Thanks for watching. Just want to do one quick commercial. If I can get this song to work.
It's the Kid Flame right here. Hey, do the popular demand. I had to extend this song right here, so I'm gonna give y'all a little something extra. I love y'all. You heard me?
We're going to let that come back in a minute. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Chris Rush. This is Mayor Whoville. This is All Hands on Deck Media Podcast. I really appreciate you guys for listening and tuning into the show. Again, in order for this to keep going, we're going to need partners to keep this movement moving. And obviously this movement, we're trying to make waves in the sense of politically educating the masses, educating young people, educating new people and how to get involved, how to see righteousness come through our politicians, because I believe there is a place that we're called to do that. All Hands on Deck is about the first, one of the things in abortion. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we're about. We're about coming together. But I believe that all what we're talking about is to that point. I mean, when we're talking about knowing who God is and walking with God spiritually, that's what we're about. Being fathers. That means not, and then just like Clifton said a minute ago, when we read Malachi chapter 3, it's turning our hearts to the children. And as fathers, we should be turning our hearts to the children. If we do that means we turn to our hearts to the children who are dying by abortion every day. And we want to see the abolition of it. So we ask that your financial support come in. We are on our way to become a 501c3. But in the meantime, if you could become one of the Mighty 300 at $10 a month, at allhandsondeckmedia.com. You can give right there, and you can even partner with us in the tithe. That's going to help us pay bills. That's going to help us dedicate more time in creating this media empire. So again, really appreciate you guys partnering, listening to this show. I think the show is going to grow bigger and bigger as time goes. Really appreciate you guys. All hands on deck. Let's get it.
Y'all need to know that man sin. Y'all need to know that man lived, and y'all need to know that man hid. That man hid from his own God. Y'all need to know that man hides. Y'all need to know that man left, and y'all need to know that man dies. Make you think you cool. You accomplished a lot.
That was a perfect song to have on that, man. Thanks for watching. It wants to take its time. I really, really hope. No, I think you are being heard. All right. Your breath in our lungs, God. That's why we pour out our praise. Well, we're back on Hands on Deck Media. Thanks for listening, you guys. We are talking with Clifton Williams right now, we were just laying out North Star House of Prayer. Unfortunately, Clifton, we've got a little bit less than 10 minutes. But that should be enough time, right? Do 10 minutes, and then we want to kind of finish with the worship song, right? So where we left off, I mean, obviously you're listening to podcasts or you're watching this, you didn't, it's not like a huge break that happened, but he laid out the foundation, how North Star House of Prayer got started, from a logistics part, from what I was doing. Spiritually, he was laboring also, and now we're culminating, and this thing is, so do the best you can within 6-7 minutes. What's going on today?
I've been fighting the fight in the Minneapolis public schools. The Lord has allowed us to enter in with a gardening project where we're tilling up the whole city. We're 1 of 5 chosen by the National Council of Mayors. Gave us some rep to bring the
for me real quick.
It gave us some rep to bring the gospel into the public school. In doing so, I found out that somebody felt the Lord was calling us to bring worship into the school. We brought it to the principal's attention. But before doing so, I went to Papa Ugan, Stephen Ugan of Trinity Works, Messenger Boot Camp, and I brought the word to him. He agreed with it. He told me I needed to remind Chris of North Star House of Prayer. I hit up my brother. I told him I had a meeting set up with the principal, Dr. Barry of North Community High School.
You can lean back. It goes far.
But anyway, long story short, I told Christopher we were going in and we were that the Lord had put it on my heart to bring sexual purity to North Community High School and to the city and to the state by bringing North Star House of Prayer starting at North Community High School. And so we went and we had the meeting with Dr. Barry. There was an amazing...
Who's the principal?
Dr. Barry, the principal of North Community High School. She gave us a timeline that she kind of wanted to seek the Lord on this first about taking such a major step.
Well, I don't know if you made that clear. Maybe I'm not listening and thinking 10 things at once. But the reason why we met with them is because we want to do we want to start North Star there. We want to have a prayer meeting there weekly.
3 days a week.
3 days a week.
Minimum.
Worship and praying, crying out to God, which is, I don't want to take much time away from what, but which is so important. This is just amazing. God's called me to work with youth. Jesus told Clifton Jesus is jealous for the youth of Minneapolis. I had a dream about us being in I was in a school, and I remember crying out, just saying Jesus, screaming Jesus on the top of my lungs over and over and over again. And when I did that, kids started singing and revival started happening. I had this dream about 2 years ago. Maybe it was before Jonah was born. So yeah, he's 2. So 2.5 years ago. So, I mean, so here we are now, inches away of actually starting a prayer meeting, North Star, in a high school. What is God going to do with that? This is amazing.
This is phenomenal. So immediately I felt the Lord telling me that we're not supposed to just have an opening. They're supposed to have a grand opening. And so I really felt in my heart like someone who has impressed me in the African American community in all of worship internationally is Dr. Reverend William McDowell of World Changer Ministries. And so I took a leap of faith. And in the waiting time of meeting with Dr. Barry, I contact World Changer Ministry. I got contacted back by Trinity, Reverend William McDowell's secretary, and they agreed that they believe sexual purity is to come to North Minneapolis, and that it should start through the youth at a high school. And so the first week of North Star House of Prayer, the plan is to do 3 days of some really intense worship and intercession and outreach and bring in some big name worshipers. Not that it's some celebrity show, but to draw the crowds in of the city and to get support for North Star House of Prayer. But anyway, we also expressed this to Dr. Barry, and Dr. Barry agreed, saying that William McDowell is one of her favorite worshipers as well. So to bring that with the International House of Prayer, with the Twin Cities House of Justice, with Sanctuary Covenant Church, and other congregations in the community would be just an impactful thing for the youth. So, the goal is to begin at the high school with mediocre, like 3 to 4 days a week, and growing into the summer of more days and more hours to eventually transplanting into a more permanent location where we're able to bring night and day and night worship, evangelism, in prophecy and intercession to North Minneapolis. Hallelujah.
Amen. Amen. I was looking at this thing. It was acting as if it's not recording right now.
But Dr. Barry's in 100% agreement. She said what we need is to dot our I's and cross our T's. She wants to make sure that this sticks. But we heard some heavy revelation on her end of what the Lord has given her about this, and we're going to be praying about this. We're going to be gathering to pray. I believe the 5 a.m. prayer hour. This should be one of your highlights for that prayer hour, of course.
Say that again. What do you mean by that?
As you have a prayer agenda for your 5 a.m. prayer.
Yeah.
This will make the agenda. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's if we can even get that started again. But yeah. This is I hope you guys are listening and
sexual purity, North Minneapolis.
Yeah, I hope you're seeing what's going on. I mean, He is the process I've seen God do this in the sense saving us, calling us, the labor in youth, the labor in evangelism, the labor in prayer, and that God hasn't forgot about the city's destiny, and that here we are. This is why it's so important for you guys to partner with us. And I'm not trying to make this about money, but I'm trying to say like this. We're talking about establishing a 24-hour house of prayer in North Minneapolis where a bunch of kids are going to be affected with All Hands on Deck. I mean, this is what we're going to, and this show is going to be a discipleship, hopefully, that they'll be so on fire. They'll be like, Chris, man, I want to listen to your show, dude. I'm learning, and we'll have more stuff that we could cover in 2 hours. We may have to do a 3-hour show. Who knows? We may have to do a daily show if it gets that large. But this is amazing, man. This is God is literally being faithful to his word and seeing revival happens, because revival comes out of us crying out to God. It comes out of a place of worship and intimacy with God. When we're able to have, it's kind of like the Air Force, when you're able to spend time with Jesus and have that communion of light, then the light can grow. But there at least needs to be an establish of one beam that's just won't let out, and that. And then when more people come to that beam, it grows the beam, and it grows the beam, and it grows the beam. The more people come into the beam, and the beam is the Father. I don't want to, we don't need to go long on purpose because we can end with worship, man. But I guess, man, I mean, this is amazing. This is Malachi chapter 3, and maybe I should read a little bit of that.
You should.
I'll read a little bit of maybe the first 3 verses, and then I'll end with Malachi chapter 4. But Malachi 3 says, Behold, I send my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. The Lord whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant. in whom you delight. Behold, he is coming, says the Lord. The Lord is coming. But who can endure the day of his coming? Who can stand when he appears? For he will be like a refiner's fire and like a lavender's soap. He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness.
Then they may offer the Lord an offering of righteousness.
And this is, who can stand in the hour of the Lord? This is what's so important of what, at least I feel like my calling is due. Because are we going to be able to stand? Are we in the days of Jesus' return, in the end time days, are we going to be a people of clarity, a people of knowledge, a people of deep worship, of deep hope? Or we're just going to be running around running around not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, anxious and everything? God is wanting us to go deep today. This is why we're here. He wants to purify us. He wants to refine our souls and purify those things out of our life. He wants to clean up our sin like soap and just wash that stuff off of us. And he's going to do that. And in Malachi chapter 4, verses 5, I'll just start there. He says, Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He would turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. And I just say this to everyone listening and people who are watching, that, me and Clifton represent Elijah even now. Here we are, God is sending us as messengers to turn your heart to the hearts of the children. Turn your heart to the hearts of the children in North Minneapolis. Turn to your heart to the children that are dying in the abortion clinics. And he says, when our hearts turn to the children, then the children's hearts return back to us. And he says, if that doesn't happen, your land will be cursed. Your land will be cursed. And so, on that note, I'm going to be down. Let Clifton give the last words, and then we'll end with some worship.
And the most important part is that there's people who are tempting the Lord right now by saying those who are doing the unrighteous acts are prospering. People in the church are saying this to God. It says it right here. Mm-hmm. And this is a never-ending word, but the Lord says, then those who feared the Lord, who feared the Lord, spoke to one another.
What verse you're reading?
This is Malachi 4:16.
Okay.
3:16, sorry. Then those who feared the Lord spoke to one another, and the Lord listened and heard them. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who fear the Lord and those who meditate on his name. Are you meditating on his name? Are you calling down night and day? The funding of this ministry is so beyond the need of money. The funding of this ministry is saying, I'm partnering in this. I fear the Lord. And I want to be written in this book remembers. And then it goes on to say that they shall be mine, says the Lord of hosts. On that day I will make them jewels, and I will spare them as a man spares his own son who serves them. And then you shall again be able to discern between the righteous and the wicked, between one who serves God and one who does not serve him. When North Star House of Prayer is officially launched, we're going to be able to discern. And the discernment is coming. So partner up in prayer, partner up with financial aid, and let's see all hands on deck go forward in progress in Jesus Christ.
Amen. I can't say it better than that, you guys. Partners us in prayer, partners up physically, partners up and keep listening. Spread this message, share this podcast, and share this video. Thanks, you guys. Song.